All of the information presented in this video is to be considered purely speculation and not to be perceived as fact. I'm going to say that a lot. Hey, a couple things up front before we dive in. I do not play Apex Legends personally, so if I miss any context here or there, or I don't have all the details on the game itself, please forgive me. I'm not a video game hacker. I don't know all the ins and outs of the anti-cheat software or all the exploits and vulnerabilities that might be abused. I don't work at EA, Respawn, play Apex, or any of the other big names surrounding this. I'm just a third-party outsider, just a guy that tries to do cybersecurity stuff the best I can. With all that out of the way, all right. I know, we're still here talking about Apex Legends and the ALGS hack, but this time around, we're focusing on the hacker, Destroyer2009. For super quick background context and to bring you up to speed, on March 17th, the Apex Legends Global Series tournament was interrupted when two of the professional gamers were hacked live during the game competition.
I'm getting hacked! But
I know, sure. Can you play the game?
Bro, I'm getting hacked!
I talked about this in a previous video and joined Pirate Software on a live stream to discuss it further. Throughout all of that, though, there were a lot of uncertainties, and nothing truly and officially confirmed, all just speculation. But one question stood out amongst the rest, and it still lingers. Who did it? Who disrupted a global spectacle with thousands of eyes all over the world watching and millions of dollars poured into the event? Who is Destroyer2009? That question is worth an investigation. So let me tell you a story and we'll see if we can answer the question, who really is Destroyer2009? A few days ago, I received a message on Discord from one of my friends in the scam baiting community. Those are the folks that call the fake tech support people, you know, like a fake Microsoft or Apple, and they'll intentionally waste their time so that those bad actors aren't scamming real innocent victims. The scam baiting skills in that community translate really well to cybersecurity and OSINT, but look, for their privacy, I'll leave their name and profile picture redacted in this screenshot, but they said that some open source intelligence specialists had some interesting info regarding the Apex Legends hack, and they wanted to chat with me about it. Open source intelligence, or OSINT for short, is that process of gathering details and information all from publicly available resources. Things like social media, online websites, or just freely accessible material that's just published on the open internet. OSINT professionals aren't usually breaking into things or actively hacking into networks or whatever, they're just passively observing free information that's already out there. So I reached out to this OSINT professional and I asked what's up. He let me know that he's been working on this investigation with a friend of his, who's been really leading the charge on this case. He brings in his friend, and I'm in a group chat with Skeletal Demise and Foil Man. Now, to be totally clear, these two are the geniuses here. All credit goes to them, they did all the real work here, and I am just acting as a mouthpiece. For credibility's sake, they're both security researchers, malware analysts, scam baiters, OSINT pros, and just all-around rock stars. I believe in their work and I wanted to help share that story, but as always, please take this with a grain of salt. We won't know anything for certain without the official breakdown from EA, Respawn, and all the official sources. But here's the kicker. They're confident they know who the Apex Legends hacker is. They know who Destroyer2009 is. They've both shared their own individual blog posts to dig into the details here, and I'll link those below in the video description, and I seriously, strongly recommend you go check them out to get some more of the info that I just can't fit into this video here. Now, all of us want to do the right thing here and do responsible disclosure. We want to get this information to the big dogs chasing the Apex Legends incident internally, but Skeletal Demise and Foilman had trouble actually getting a hold of anyone on the inside. Any cybersecurity folks, like vulnerability researchers, probably know this very well. You can't make contact with a company, and if you do, you just get sidelined into a queue or a support ticket that goes unanswered and ultimately unresolved. That sucks. So I tried my best to be a megaphone and get a hold of someone. You might have seen my social media posts asking if I could just get in contact with anyone. And let me say, we did get a hold of folks and we got everyone together to share these details. Let me say, we did get a hold of someone and we found the right folks to submit the findings to the proper channels. I want to let them do their investigation work, and they are big businesses after all, but we shared all of the information to the right people on the inside. Now, let's get into Destroyer2009. Apparently, the guy has pretty bad OPSEC, or operational security. If you literally just Google search for Destroyer2009 and Apex Legends, and if you push past the mortal boundary of research and go beyond the first page of Google results, you'll find an interesting website, golfcheats.com, with an article on Destroyer2009. It reads, Destroyer2009, also known as Timoxa, recently hacked the game Apex during a tournament. And there's an interesting breadcrumb right there, a new name or alias, Timoxa. The site continues, Destroyer2009 is notorious for his Apex cheat, Cola, which has been dominating Apex Legends for quite some time. He often stream snipes many live streamers with his cheats to gain more promotion. In the past, he used the nickname Timoxa and developed cheats for Rust alongside individuals such as Aphamos developer KiteCat and Mem Solutions developer, I don't know if those are the right names. All of them are from Russia, but Destroyer2009 is the most skilled among the three, allowing him to wreak havoc on Apex Legends for an extended period. And this is where the floodgates open. This article includes a screenshot of Discord DMs, and they redacted the usernames here, not me, I didn't do that, and it includes an unlisted YouTube video. So from this find alone, we know 1, a new handle, Timoxa, and 2, a Discord account and username, and 3, an unlisted YouTube video, which is uploaded by a user, SMTH. Keep that username in mind, SMTH. But first, let's fall down the rabbit hole on Timoxa for a bit. Again, super simple. If we Google Timoxa and Apex Legends, we'll find results for user Timoxa5651 active on the Unknown Cheats forum. And they've posted about Rust and Apex Legends hacking well before. This lines up pretty well. In fact, a little bit of an Easter egg here, this user, Timoxa5651, pokes fun at Pirate Software's analysis on the Unknown Cheats thread discussing the ALGS hack. This was during the early days of trying to understand the IP address seen from that Malwarebytes scan on Imperial House computer, and I think we can all acknowledge that the community as a whole might have jumped to conclusions at that point. But in the frenzy for answers, I think that's totally understandable. I know it's something to nitpick on, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it. Anyway, now we have another potential username, Timoxa5651. And look, if they're a game hacker, they probably have an account where they might develop software. Think GitHub. Now, there is, of course, a github.com/Timoxa5651 user. Interestingly enough, there are 27 contributions in private repositories from March 3rd onward, which does align with the timeline of the Apex Legends hack, but that could just totally be coincidence. Note, though, that there is a public repository, which could give us a little bit more detail. If we clone this console application 7 repository, we can look through the git log and find code commits from that user, including their email address. Or, just as easily, we can add a .patch file extension to the end of any commit and then see the diff of the commented code, once again showing the email address. Git is customizable, and this email address could be anything, but it's not too far-fetched to say a user with the username Timoxa5651 would consequently have that email address. Every Git commit requires an email address to be associated with it, and again, this is natural, normal, public information and open source intelligence just on the internet. If we consider this to be Timoxa's actual email address, this opens up a whole new world of intel. We can use a tool like epios.com, ghunt, or its online equivalent, osint.industries, and we can easily track down a lot of other online accounts. So it seems that Timoxa has a handful of other online accounts on various other cheating forums, Russian hacking forums, and more, discussing Apex Legends aimbot hacks, ESP hacks, etc. But hey, it should be noted that Timoxa5651 is not definitively the same as Destroyer2009, of course, but there is so much similarity that the idea really starts to take shape. Let's look back at our unlisted YouTube video. In the description of that unlisted YouTube video, there is a link to another Russian forum, ugame.biz. We can see Timoxa's posts there alongside a couple other unlisted YouTube videos that he has shared. Following this account on the ugame.biz forum gives us a little bit more insight, but one of these unlisted videos is very interesting because Timoxa talks with his real voice. Listen to this audio for a second.
А как проверить, ребята, кто типа по мне стрелял? Combat log или что? Я не знаю, как оно там?
And now, totally acknowledging this is just auditory detective work, but listen to this video interview with Mandy.
Are you Destroyer2009?
Might be.
Where are you from, dude?
Russia.
Do you cheat in other games too?
Yeah. I only play 2 games.
What else do you play?
Rust.
Rust? You cheat in Rust too?
Oh yeah, I do. I spent those 3-4 years time on coding and stuff, and now I would say better than the average.
I don't think I'm too far out on a ledge here if I say those voices sound the same. And this is a very obscure, unlisted YouTube video. It has like less than 300 views. And there is some really interesting evidence here too. The Timoxa5651 email address is the same one that's used for the registered SMTH account on YouTube. We're still left wondering though. On the Golf Cheats website and the article that shares the Discord screenshots, who is actually communicating with Timoxa here? We don't know who made those screenshots or who wrote this article. It could be a cheat dev who just knows Destroyer2009 or Timoxa. Could be the admin, could be any other moderators for golfcheats.com. That's what it seems like, but we can't quite confirm it yet. One way or another, it's looking more and more like Timoxa5651 is the personal account used frequently by Destroyer2009. Those two user accounts, Timoxa5651 and Destroyer2009, are at this point what we could say very likely the same person. Now, a lot of the recent Twitter or X posts had shown communication with Destroyer2009 over Telegram with Russian characters. We've got this hunch that he is Russian, and that's looking more and more likely. I spoke with Lorenzo, the TechCrunch reporter who interviewed Destroyer2009, and he expressed that that conversation was all in English. And the interview with Mandy, or Mand, whatever, of course that's in English. And in that interview, Destroyer2009 states that he is 18 years old.
How old are you, if I may ask?
18.
On top of that, this SMTH account has actually left a handful of Google reviews for places and locations within that geographic region. Either everything lines up, or it's just some wild coincidence. And at this point, we can do a bit more dumpster diving, like exploring past data breaches. They all align with him being 18 years old and continued use of video game cheat sites like Aimware. Presumably, he uses just Timoxa56 when he can't use the full Timoxa5651, and that ties us to some potentially new Russian email addresses. We can take that even further by experimenting with the numbers. How about Timoxa565, just leaving off the 1 at the end? Again, this is total speculation, but that would lead us even to find a Russian Brainly account. I know I'm out on a ledge here, but is that his school account going through coursework? If we keep hunting for Timoxa565, we continue to find new email addresses. That leads us to even more clues, again correlating with their birth year, 2005 if they are 18 years old, and they even just state this publicly in some other online forums. Even the full username, Timoxa5651, shared their Ethereum wallet address with the uncovered new email address. Granted, this might be a little bit too far out there, but there is something hefty in some of those data breaches. One of those includes a dump with all the gory details. Their email, their phone number, their date of birth, their full name and surname, their street address, city, region, and more. And to be honest, the name or the tie to the name isn't really a secret here. At the very least, the association with the username Timoxa. There are literally public samples of cheats that are in PDB symbol strings and include the Windows account username. And these once again clue in on Timoxa. Now, look, I'm not gonna dox this kid. That's not what I'm meaning to accomplish, but I do want to share the investigative story. I won't show you the address or location on Google Maps, but if we take the given address from that dump, and if we see how close it is to some of the previous Google reviews, it's just 20 minutes away. So we've got a ton of similarities right now, but no definitive or concrete thread that Destroyer2009 is in fact Timoxa 5651 or vice versa. We know they're both 18 and Russian. Destroyer2009 claims this in a past interview. Destroyer2009 also claims that the only games that he plays or hacks on are Rust and Apex Legends, while Timoxa says the very same. They both have a lot of knowledge about EAC, Apex Legends, and others, and Timoxa is active and aware of the recent Apex Legends hack. With all of those cards on the table, it's looking likely that they're the same person, just not confirmed. But hey, Destroyer2009 is seemingly pretty lackadaisical and wanting to talk about this stuff, so there was a thought to just ask him. Since the Discord account from those early screenshots from Golf Cheats is real, totally valid, and actual Discord account, there's nothing stopping just reaching out and talking to him. He's even seen in other Golf Cheat screenshots, active in video game cheat Discord servers, with the role all in line with his tool, Cola. So this is the conversation that was had in Discord DMs. Bear in mind, it's a little bit of social engineering, a little bit of bait, just seeing what Destroyer2009 might be willing to share. And depending on how you read or interpret the back and forth dialogue here, it looks like Destroyer2009 basically says, yes, Timoxa is my account. When asked about the Golf Cheats article and whether or not people were leaking, quote unquote, the old alias and handle, Destroyer just laughs it off. Damn, what a leak. Everyone knows that's my old account, it got terminated. Apparently referring to an old Discord account, but he just says it outright. Now, again, take this all with a grain of salt. Everything presented here is just speculation and not to be perceived as fact. It's just the investigative story. Here's another Discord conversation, but this time with Golf, the admin of golfcheat.com, in the original article that we started with. When asked, why do you think Destroyer2009 is Timoxa, they respond, because I know him personally. But in the previous conversation, Destroyer acts like they have no idea who Golf is. One of them is lying. Or both. We don't know for sure. At the very least, Destroyer seems to be lying because when asked about the unknown cheats forum or ugame.biz, they say they've never been active on there. But if they are Timoxa, as they just said, we've seen that account active even there now. That just doesn't seem to be true. But here we are now, with moderate to high confidence that we really know who Destroyer2009 is, Timoxa 5651. Presumably we've uncovered their identity, but you might ask now, so what? What can even be done if they are in fact Russian? The rest of the world has no jurisdiction, and you're totally right. The answer to that question, what can be done, is nothing. Nothing can be done if they're in Russia. And I'm curious about your opinion here. Do you think that this hack deserves discipline? Should there be repercussions and consequences for exploiting a competitive video game tournament with $5 million on the line? We've gotten in touch with the big boy businesses to share all of these details, and I'm really glad and pretty happy that I got to help facilitate that. So if I may, I'd love to share my piece. And I don't often get to do this, but if I could, maybe sort of talk directly to Destroyer2009. Hey man, if you just happen to be watching this, look, I know all this shit went down. And it's become a very, very public discussion. And you've got a lot of people, myself included, who parallel this to real cybersecurity conversations, like threat actors and ransomware gangs and adversaries and cyber criminals. And I know that as an 18-year-old kid messing stuff up in a video game, it's pretty easy to try and justify this in your mind. Like you just shrug it off. You shrug off the whole thing like, haha, it's just a prank, bro. Funny memes, trolling. It's just a video game. You let it roll off your shoulders and you laugh it off. And look, I've done that too. I've been there. I think a lot of us have when we're just hacking away at something, doing stuff that we think is pretty cool. But even when a lot of us hackers sort of ride that ethical line, maybe go a little gray hat, there's usually some greater good that's behind that mission. If there's even some weird cyber vigilantism that is with good intentions. In this situation, there is no good intent. It was just for kicks. So let me be a little bit more direct here, because when we start to talk about threat actors and cybercrime, it should be clear. You are a threat actor. I'd go so far to say you have committed cybercrime. When you've brought industries and communities into a stir, you have done damage. And that shouldn't be a question mark in your mind. Now, pulling back out, hey, talking back to you all again, I'm curious of your thoughts. What do you think? If I could get on my soapbox and just remind all of us, either in the gaming or cybersecurity world, we do a lot of this stuff just because we love it. It's so cool. It's so sweet. You're doing elite stuff, hacking away. But we've got to keep some moral compass and have in the back of our minds, look, we do this for the love of the hunt and not the thrill of the kill. And hey, big shout out to Skeletal Demise and Foilman for bringing me in on this, sharing their incredible investigation work, and being willing to just let me help share the story. And big kudos, support, and love to EA, Respawn, and the Play Apex crew, and all the developers and engineers and security teams working this stuff. It's not easy, and it's not often celebrated, but seriously, you are the unsung heroes here. Thank you so much for watching. Gentle reminder, all of the information presented in this video is to be considered purely speculation and not to be perceived as fact.